welcome to Daily Trades by Ren. My name is Ren, and today is July 2nd, 2026. Let's go ahead and talk about today's um, trades by Ren. I crashed my account, guys. Um, you can see I'm down 30% right now. Okay, so let's go to the 50-minute candle. And if you go ahead and look at it, you can see everything that I did today. Um, I got into a bunch of new positions. Actually, I couldn't decide. So, I think this is my closed position. So I closed this position and then I opened this new position right here, which is this one right here. And so this one is going for all the way to next week, July 10th. And I got a $50 collateral credit spread. And I did that to go against, well, go with the upward trend, the bullish trend. We did have a uh, bear sentiment today, so we opened the market like right here, 6:30. I didn't wake up until thing was down here. Oh, it was right here. Right, so it actually took it all the way up, right? 7 o'clock. Look, 6:30. Um, hold on, let's go down real quick. Let's close out here. Let's see if I can take the fence off. Oh, it opened it back up. Okay, so right here, the fence right there. Boom, right? So it went all the way up to where we said it was gonna go. So overnight, this is what happened overnight. Overnight, I was watching it a little bit here and there at pre-market. It was doing this kind of stuff right here. Boom, 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 boom. Then by pre-market, right, it was like right there. Let me see. By pre-market, yeah, by pre-market was right there. So I was good. I was like, oh yeah, dude, I'm good, right? Because remember my contract was at 44. Now I was betting it won't go below 44. Uh, and then it did good. You know what I mean? It pumped all the way up, just like we said, right? It was gonna look for that 750. Would I draw the line at? Right there, the 750. Right there, there's the line. 750, right? Boom. And then it went down. Boom. Right? And then it bottomed out right here at 140. And then I was like, I can't draw anymore. And then the bottom out at seven uh 740. Boom. Right? And then barely towards the end of the day on the second 4-hour time frame, um, it started to go back up again, right? If I had my position, because it closed out at like 7:45, probably would have had my this wouldn't be 35, but I cut out like around here. I'll show you. So let's go to the 1 minute candle. I cut out around here because I'd rather cut my losses. So the 1 minute candle, and the 1 minute candle, it was like staying at around here. And let's do it again, like around that line right here. right there, around that line right there, right? That's where I cut out. I cut out, you know, I cut it out like around I think 7:42 or whatever, right? But remember Time Decay? Time Decay didn't didn't do good for me. So I ended taking that loss, which I mean, um, I had enough buying power um, to come back in. This spread was a $50 spread, and so I had just enough, what I mean, to come back in. So I came back in, and I'm up. What you call that? $1. You know what I mean? So yeah, I see this as a like it's a game, um, but it's more of a real life. Like how do we move ourselves financially towards a better future, right? Um, and I'm collecting equity as I go. So the cool thing about this is this whole like people are buying homes, right? This whole everything here, right? It's in the palm of my hands. It's like it's a tool. You know what I mean? Like I can use it to buy equity. You know what I mean? Like how do you buy equity in real life? You know, you go and buy assets and hopefully it'll grow, right? This thing is, I can buy real estate. You know what I mean? It's just paper, it's just numbers, right? And I don't have to deal with having to manage anything. So that's how I see this whole thing, right? That's why I mean, like it's important for me to learn it. I'm not sure about anybody else, but when I like I talked to my cousin the other day, right? She said, what did she say? She said, "Oh, we're not we're not um everyone's interested in different things, right?" And I mean, obviously she's really proud of that, right? Then I started talking about technology and AI and stuff, and how we need to become more aligned with it or whatever, or else we're gonna become obsolete, right? She's like, "Well, not everyone's on the same path, right?" We're on the same path, but if everything's going digital and you're still analog, yeah, you become obsolete. Like, but I think the only good thing about our scenario, right? Because we're in our 40s or whatever, right? Is that you know, we only got a few decades to go. You know what I mean? Versus someone else that's younger that has their whole life ahead of them, right? So yeah, it's not a bad thing to look at things in micro sense, you know. So yeah, so this is like a vehicle, right? And all you gotta do is learn it, right? Learn it, and there's risk involved, right? But if you think about money as like transferring of funds, that really just takes up your time, if anything, right? Because nothing is like I don't I don't carry around like paper money. You know what I mean? Cash and tender. You know what I mean? No one's lugging around like gold nuggets either, right? So everything's on your phone, right? So you technically everything is like digital, like unless someone you know is really gonna like come at you at the like hacking angle, right? Really, there's there's nothing you can do, right? Um, speaking in terms of like as far as whether or not you want to potentially move vertically in reality, right? Um, via financially in the current um, world of everything's technical or digital. You know what I mean? So more or less, like um, the only difference from here and reality when it comes to like things like tangible things like equity and assets and whatnot, right? Is that equity and assets is more expensive, and the collateral is way different. You know what I mean? When you take it outside of the boundaries of what you can do online. You know what I mean? Because it is a fraction of a price. Different, like a big fraction. We're talking about fractions. They're talking about whole numbers. You know what I mean? Crazy. But yeah. So what was I saying? Yeah. So it dipped, and let's talk about the reason why it dipped. Right? We did have job reports, and job reports. Um, they said it's weaker than normal. I wanted to show you a screenshot of what I took um, that highlighted, what happened in the market. And to me, it's kind of unsatisfying, I guess. Not because, my numbers here, right? What, I mean, whatever. I'm playing with small numbers anyway, so it's not, it's not that big a deal, Um, the way I get in and out is like, it's in the dollar value. It's not in the hundreds of dollars value. You know what I mean? Like, I put my buying power over here or deposit or whatever funds I got. You know what I mean? And then literally, I'm just working with the ones and $2, right? My whole goal is to learn a little bit more about positioning and being able to maneuver within the market. Okay, so what happened to market today, right? So you hit your all-time highs, right? And nothing was said about the job reports or anything like that. They started to share it, well, on my end anyways, right? On my tool that I use to get my news feeds, right? They probably started sharing it halfway through the day, like at noon, right? And so then it tanked the market even more. And then the headline said, and this is weird to me, right? It says the Nasdaq, no, not the Nasdaq, but the Dow Jones hit all time highs, right? But then you know, um, chip the chip stocks, they had a blowback, right? Obviously, someone decided to write an article saying that, yeah, we had a crash, so therefore it must be the chip stocks. And it's a bloodbath. So it went from here to here after that. So it went from here after they said bloodbath to that. Right? And then the last hour it did this. Listen up. So go back to 40%. The last hour, it did this right here. Boom. Right? And you're like, what? One headline? You can have one headline do all that, right? What do you call that? The the reserves, oil reserves and stuff, right? Everything looks good. You know what I mean? Like everything is, plentiful, right? You see gas prices going down and stuff, right? So it's just, I mean, let's just be technical about it, right? It hit all time highs, and then the market decided to say, okay, we're not gonna stand for this. We're just gonna sell off, right? And this is what I should have done, right? I should have woke up one, right? I should have sold off right there and get my profits. I would have had all my profits. You know what I mean? This would have been plus, probably plus 10, plus 20 or something, right? And then let me see, or plus 30, plus 30, plus 40%. And then, yeah, it'll be the opposite. And then, but I woke up and it was already minus like 20, 30, right? Um, I recovered a little bit, and then probably, probably like right here, that's when I decided to cut my loss, right there, right in between right here, right there. That no, I didn't take a new position, right there. You know what I mean? So it did go up. You know what I mean? I should have cut my loss when it was right here, but I was like, man, I wanted to go green. So by the time it got right here, I was ready to cut it, right? Which which may probably break even from yesterday, right? So a little bit under like 8% or whatever, right? But um, we're naturally not built to take a $1 loss. We're built to take a 35% loss. You know, yes, that's what happened, right? So the market tanked because of a headline says it's gonna be a bloodbath with the chip stocks. Boom, 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 right? I was waiting for it to recover right here on this line, this price line right here, because that would have been good for me, right? And it would recover it to like back over here, or maybe over here, this other line right here, or maybe even over here, right somewhere over here, I would have been good, right? It kind of did that right here. If you look at it, and for a little bit, I was hoping that it was just gonna be right there. Oh, that's horrible. I'm back in. You know what I mean? I'm right here. So I took for July 10th, which is a whole next week, right? I took a $50 spread, and I'm trying to stay above a four, a 742 and a half. So I took a contract that's worth only half, right? The amount. So sometimes you see some discounts like that, right? Contract is a lot smaller than average. Like it's like half of a well, everything's still the same, right? All the elements to it's the same, but it's half of a whole number, right? So if you go from 142 to 143, that's a whole number, right? That's 100 shares of the particular stock, right? And then if you go from, so let's say mine, right, from 142 to 142.5, that's half. You know what I mean? So that's like 50 shares of the stock if it ever exercises, right? And then if it exercises and you don't pull out, luckily Robinhood has a mechanism where it automatically sells it out for you. But you can't depend on that either. Then yeah, so yeah, if it ever exercises, you end up you know having to you have a quote unquote margin account, and then you enabled it, and then that's where it just takes it from. Yeah, that's it for me today, guys, and I hope you guys got a good day.